Hey. So good morning, good afternoon, and or evening to all everywhere. I am Tanetta, and today is day 3 of the Love Dare. Remember, I'm not doing the Love Dare because I'm in a relationship. I'm doing the Love Dare to better build the relationship that I have with the Lord, change me for the better, and my relationship with others. And so there are some things that I'm going to hit on that are going to talk about marriage because the Love Dare is really for married couples, but only really to use it as an example or so. So today is day 3, and it's all about love is not selfishness. Y'all know how I am. I like to ramble and talk and go on little rants. So just for the disclaimer, it is night. It is the end of the day for me. I am in my bedroom. And as y'all see, my hair is all pent up and I am in my PJ ready to go to sleep. So this is what I'm doing at the end of the evening, which is what I like to do. And so it's been a very, very long day. It was a very shaken up day. For me and my son in a car accident, but everything is great. Everything is good. The rest of it we're just gonna give to God. So a little rattled, but nevertheless my son is doing great. The car is ugly, but it's sad because it doesn't have a mouth, but it has eyes and a little dinky nose like mine. But nevertheless, God is good, and so it's just material things, and so He will always bless us with something along the way. And so I just have to give it all to Him. So just a little disclaimer of what's been going on today. It's a long day. My foot is swollen, and So nevertheless, gosh, I was gonna start this out. I wrote everything, I just want to stay focused because y'all know I will ramble even worse than what I do. And so I started this a little bit different, but I think, you know what, I'm going to stick to the plan of how I have it written out. So it might feel like starting here and then going here and then going back. However, it's the way that it was on my heart. It's the way that I understood it, and it's the way that that I'm hopefully being used as a vessel for the Lord. So I'm just gonna go for what I know. So again, I'm following the Love Dare series with Kirk Cameron's video on YouTube. The From June of 2021. I also have my book, but because I've done the book in the past, it's a little bit different. I am using the pocket, like the 8 reasons to do the Love Dare, and reading some of the notes that I have, and mostly on listening to some of the YouTube videos and quoting some of the book. It's really awesome. But I have my little pocket one. It's probably backwards to you guys, where it's Dare to Love, 8 reasons to take the Love Dare. So this isn't actually the Love Dare book. It's just a if you're contemplating, it might be the reason why you would want to do it. So for me, I found this and opened up a whole new reasons of why I would want to do the Love Dare. And again, not because I'm married, but one day hope to be. But I didn't do the Love Dare to be one day hope to be either. It was more to make a better relationship with my relationship with God, to learn myself better, to change me, and to have better relationships with those around me. So love is not selfish. And I was like, what a phenomenal gift to love others more than yourself. Like, that to me is so phenomenal. To love others. I can't necessarily say that I always love others more than I love myself. And that's why I'm on the Love Dare. But man, I do love people. And it is a sincere genuinely heartfelt love. I've had it my whole entire life, and I can't imagine not loving people. It does hurt my spirit when people just read you wrong, but I'm learning to get over those things because they hated Jesus, so why am I complaining, right? And so I used to take it really, really personal, and so there is no reason for me to anymore. But it does teach me healthy boundaries and limitations. But our society teaches us that selfishness is necessary. Like, our society teaches us that if you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. Or if I scratch yours, you should scratch mine, right? And so I was saying about that in my own, that if people, I really pay attention to people that say, if I scratch your back and you scratch mine. So what they're saying is, look, I'm going to give you something and help you out, but in return, you're going to help me out. And if they say it the other way, if you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. They're saying, look, give me that up front. And if you give me that, then I'll be sure to help you out when you need it. It's a very selfish way of thinking. I get it. I've been there. I've done that. I've lived it. But thinking if you scratch my back already sets the stage of a lot of women say, have this mentality, if you scratch my back, then I'll scratch yours. I know I'm a woman, and their thoughts are, look, I'm going to do these things for you, especially in relationships or relationships with their girlfriends, just kind of hanging out with their friends, where they're giving a lot of themselves and expecting, if you scratch mine, then I'm expecting you to kind of scratch mine when I need you, and can be highly disappointed. And those are things that you just really need to deal with. Loving yourself and being able to identify healthy and unhealthy ways of thinking. And then there's the I'll scratch, and men do it too. I just pointed out because I'm a girl, and so I do know lots of women, including myself, who's had those views. And then there's the I'll scratch yours if you scratch mine, with a simple with a mind that is really simple business, a simple business objective. It's a very selfish, simple business objective. Look, I want this, and so I'll do this for you, and in return, you're going to do something for me. And so we should stop doing things that reward ourselves personally and reduce ourselves to what we're more of. We're more, but yet we'll reduce ourselves to kind of like, oh, I'll do this for the reward. But God brings us joy when we do for others. Like he says in the Bible, like plentiful times, that he will bring us joys when we do for others. In Hebrews 13:16, it says, and do not forget to do good and share with others, for with such sacrifices God is pleased. That's Hebrews 13:16. And Matthew 6:1-4 says, be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, God will have no reward for you. So when helping others, you don't need to announce it. So in other words, it's really just saying, like, you do things because you want to do them from the heart, not because you want to be recognized. And that's the thing about anonymous donors. They do it because they really don't want to be recognized. I always find it interesting in anonymous donors that say, hey, did you get my check? It was anonymous. For real? So they still want to be acknowledged, and so we do those things sometimes. And this is when the Bible, this scripture also is when the Bible talks about don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So if you read a little further, it's going to talk about that. And so that you give in secret. So if I don't let my left hand know what the right hand is doing, it's saying I'm giving in secret. Well, it's not literally. It's saying, look, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to tell everybody else about this because I'm doing it in secret. I'm doing it from my heart. But society's got this wrong. So they've mixed this up to be like some some golden rule, some life virgil or something that says, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, right? And then they may use it in terms of like your enemies, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So these are selfish thoughts. It's what the world has taught us. Be selfish. I don't worry about anybody else. I'm looking out only for myself. In other words, I'm the left hand and all of you are the right, and I'm not going to let you know what my plans are or how I'm making my success, or I'm not going to come to you. I'm just going to do this all by myself. And that's pretty selfish about who we are. It's unfortunate and it's understandable in some ways of knowing that people aren't always on the up and up. And so it is a little consuming of, I can't really tell people what I'm doing. I can't really tell that. And there's discernment in that. But just being flat out like living that life, like, is selfish, like I'm only going to look out for myself. And so the ultimate unselfish act is how God gave his only begotten son. I mean, why? Because he loves us? How unselfish is that? Like, how unconditional of a love that is. Only because he loves us. Or how Abraham was willing to sacrifice his only son from the love of his life to please the love of God. And because his heart was pure, God spared it. He was like, yeah, he really genuinely wants to do this from the heart because he loves me. Here's a ram in the bush. And Jesus is our ram, going back to him giving up his life. Jesus was the ram in the bush to save us. Such an unconditional love. To give up his life to spare ours, to give up his life to spare our souls. In 1 John 3:16 through 18, it talks about how the generosity in Jesus laying his life down for us, how he's laid his life down for us, and in return, we should lay our lives down for our other brothers and sisters, loving on them unselfishly. Like, we shouldn't be having the idea, oh, Jesus did this for me, so I better go live out my best life for him. Like, I better go do that wasn't the goal. The goal was we're gonna do this for other people. Yeah, he did that for us. And so, yeah, there should be this feeling to make sure that we give back to the Lord. No doubt. But we should also be pouring into others. We should be loving on them unselfishly, helping them love. I don't know what I wrote. So helping them and loving them. And even in your marriage, like if you're married, you always should be giving unselfishly. So today is all about selfish love. Like, love yourself. And I'm a motivational speaker, a life coach, and I do talk to people about loving themselves. There's a healthy space of loving yourself, but today we're all about loving yourself in the most selfish, narcissistic kind of way. That's it. We have YOLO. You only live once. So I don't care about another person, or I need to find my happiness. And so if I need to find my happiness, who cares about yours? All the happiness they're looking for isn't biblical. But yeah, we have so many churches and ministries today practicing this prosperity and self-love kind of ministry, which isn't anything in the Bible that talks about. These are ministries that are purpose driven. Like, these are set out So, God is a purpose driven God, yet we are so selfish driven that we don't even recognize that. We kind of push God to the side too. The book, The Love Dare, states that selfishness is the opposite of love. Dang, that was pretty deep. We think that hate is the opposite of love. Like, oh, I hate this person. So if you don't love them, then you hate them. If you don't hate them, then you love them. But it's not true. I mean, if I'm selfish, I don't really truly love them, honestly, because you can't have true love and selfishness. In fact, because of selfish motives, people act out sinfully. That's what the book states. In marriages, if I can't be happy, then I'll just trade you in for somebody else that makes me happy, or have somebody else on the side who makes me happy and fulfills my needs. Or better yet, I won't get married. I'll enjoy the privileges of marriage, adultery, fornication, or whatever it takes, so that I can run when it feels unhappily committed. When I feel like I don't want to work on this and they're not making me happy, I can just run and go back to that person when the stress of life has settled, or simply find a palette for many options to fulfill my emptiness. That's basically what we're saying. And I'm not just talking out the side of my neck. I've been in these really dark places. I understand these dark places, especially in relationships, of having that selfish kind of love, of having that space of, well, my happiness means everything to me. God doesn't want me to be unhappy. True that. But I can tell you some stories in the Bible where you go, why did God put that? Why did he give this man, oh, wait, sorry. I think my phone is ringing, but okay, sorry. Why did he give this man a whore for a wife? Like all the heartache that he went through, but there was always an aha to the situation. So in this day and time, we really don't want to go through any of those heartaches. We don't want to get on our knees and pray with our significant others, with our children, by ourselves, make up our own prayer rooms. We don't want to do any of those things. We just want it all to just come. It's somebody told me if it's genuine, it shouldn't be that hard. And I was like looking through my Bible going, somebody should have told these people in the Bible that it shouldn't be this hard. Like Job, an upright, righteous man. Why is it this hard? I mean, he lost all his children and all his cattle and what the crap. And there was an aha moment even for him. So, yeah, so I mean, nevertheless, and that's in marriages. I went over that, but the book also says you can't be acting out of real love and selfishness at the same time. It's like when you have a child and you love them so much. There are so many times when you would have given yourself the very best of something, but now that you have a child, you kind of compromise some stuff about yourself. You go, you know what? I'd rather my child have the best school clothes. I'd rather my child make sure that they have everything that they need for school, everything that they need at home to further themselves. I want them to have this little game thing that's going to educate them, because I want them to have the best. I want them to have the really best shoes so that they walk straight. You kind of sacrifice things to make sure that your child has the best, or you learn to do with less. You just be like, I can't have that steak because, my child is not going to be able to eat the steak. I don't have enough for all of us. Or I've got 5 kids, and so because of my 5 kids, we can't have lobster every month, and so you just learn to sacrifice things for your children when you really truly love those, when those children come around and you're like not even expecting that you could be so unselfish about, loving another person. But the book goes on, if you find it hard to sacrifice your own desires to benefit, and so the book, I'm going to read it exactly the way that it says, to benefit your spouse, but for our use, the benefit of God, the benefit of others, the good benefit of moral virtue, the benefit of family, the benefit of those around you, then you may have a deeper problem with selfishness than you want to admit, especially if you're having this problem with your children and with your spouse. You have to ask yourself, is what the book is asking, and I'm just going to, they're asking it in the spouses. I'm going to ask it in kind of general. Do I truly want the best for another? Do I want them to feel loved by me? These are questions you have to ask yourself. Do they believe I have their best interest in mind? Like, really ask you, like, is this person thinking that I have their best interest? Do they see me as looking out for myself first? And you have to be honest with these answers, even if it hurts. I said, you may not want to face these things with others, but for me, I have to face these things with myself. And for you, you need to face them for yourself. See, even some of us are so selfish that it may show up in our children. Some of us are so focused that children didn't show us that kind of love for one reason or another. Just a whole nother one. But sometimes we can evolve into selfishness with them, putting other people before our children in such unhealthy, unbiblical stance. And there are Bible scriptures that talk about putting your spouse first. But I'm talking about when it's unhealthy. When you put other people before, especially if you are so single, and you put them before your children. Feeding them less because you need steak or lobster, or to go get your nails done, lady. So because your hair needs done and your nails need to be done, you slack off and your children have less. I know that you've all seen them kids running around looking like what they mamas be looking like. They all that in a bag of chips. I know we've all seen it. We don't know their reasons, but I'm just saying. Buying them, we used to have Payless. I put Payless on Payless now. So buying them some shoes from a local fan band, because we got a fan band, right? Okay, from a local little knockoff stores, but buying the best name brands for you, or taking them to the thrift stores while you go to Macy's. Look, when I was going through it with my kids, I have 4 children and I was a single parent. And even after that, I would be all up in them thrift stores and I would look for some name brand or some quality that I knew that was really nice for my kids. But we all shop there, all of us together. So if you're doing that stuff, being tacky, there were times when I bought a whole lot of stuff for the boys because boys went through a lot of stuff and they tear some stuff up. But they were their play clothes. They were the things that I knew, like, okay, they're getting ready to do these growth spurts. But it's not that you go out there and you just dress your kids in the bummiest of bummiest clothes. You buy your kids pants with holes in them because it's the style, not because I don't care, ain't nobody gonna know it. No, that's just wrong. They're your kids, and so you should be loving them unselfishly. And even if you're not a name brand kind of person, just the quality of making sure that your kids are well taken care of before you even take care of you. It's them first. So the love dare on the day 3 was along with restraining from negativity and being patient. Um, it was to buy your spouse something that says, I was thinking of you today. I don't have a spouse. So, reading my Dare to Love, I had to go back to the first love note. And the first love note says, write your spouse a love letter. I don't have a spouse. So, what I decided to do was write my future spouse a love letter. It's important to know what I'm looking for and what I desire in that husband. Um, and it's more of a letter for me to reflect, to say, am I being the kind of wife that is purpose driven for God? Every marriage is a ministry. And can I reflect on this letter to say, this is the standard I've made for him? Because the Love Dare talks about these standards. Am I keeping myself to that standard? And I wrote a love letter to my children. If y'all watching this, kids, it wasn't for you to read. It was for me. If you want to, I'll share it. Okay. Anyway, and then writing a love letter to God. So I didn't get to write all my letters tonight. God's like, why you put me on the back burner, right? So I will do it first thing in the morning because it's been a long day. Tomorrow will be long too. And the next day, as I have physical therapy for the next 2 days. So I'm not looking forward to that because I know it's going to be painful. And I'm going to do my best to love on my physical therapists when they hurt me, not get verbally abusive or physically abusive. I'm just saying. It's like premeditated if I say it, huh? But anyway, y'all know I like to ramble. It's 27 minutes into it. And so I did try to stay focused on the topic, but I knew it was a lot to talk about. And so I love you. I love you. I love you. And I hope that it's doing something for somebody. Day 3 was a little bit different. I'm usually really talking about how my days are going and what I've learned, but I'm watching God evolve these messages. And so if the message turns in a different direction, that's where God has guided me to do. And of course, I'm sitting on my bed and it is not propped up correctly. So if you see all the shaking, so sorry. Much love in 2022. Excuse me. I love you tonight. I love you in the morning, and I love you in the afternoon. Thank you for letting me ramble.